Welcome to NP-ToDo, Needleful's proficient to-do list app thing, which presumably you've either bought or are going to buy after seeing this epic video. So, it's, as you might have imagined, a to-do list app thing, and the reason I made it is because I had a whole bunch of tasks that I wanted to manage and filter, and I couldn't really organize them in a way that was convenient for me, specifically the game that I've been working on. I had things that were tied to specific quests of the game or specific locations, but then I also had things that were like bugs or UI or features, and I wanted to be able to quickly organize them. But then how do I also filter with priorities on top of that? So I developed something in Godot really fast, and that worked pretty well, but it wasn't very performant. Like, it took like 10% of the CPU in the background and stuff like that. So I reworked it in Lazarus and have now what you see before you, this little to-do list app. So I wanted to go through some of the features of it, and I guess I'll start with the most important features, the ones that I spent the most time on, which was the filtering. So obviously you can filter by things like whether the task is completed or not, if you wanted to pat yourself on the back or rummage through the old tasks to see if you've actually finished something. And then we can also filter by priority. So there's 4 different priorities. There's save it for the end, which is the least important. Could ship, which is things that, well, you could ship. Can ship, but would be ashamed, for things that are important, but I don't know. If push comes to shove, you're not going to block the whole world for them. And then won't ship, for things that are absolutely vital to the project and it won't release without them. But then the big thing, for me at least, is the tags. So you might have noticed that there's this spoiler tag here. That is in the excluded tags list because I don't want to show off spoilers for the game. But let's say I also don't want to show off bugs, or UI, or v4. And so now we can, but let's say I only want to show off like bugs or UI. Not a whole lot of those. I guess some less important things. But you can see how this could be useful for me, allowing me to quickly filter through dozens and dozens of tasks to figure out what I want to work on or to figure out if something is relevant. So let's start a new project just for you. So let's call this the demo project. So the first thing that we can do is we can click on this area here, and we can either create a task by right-clicking, or we can go up to here and create a task, or we can just press enter. And so once we have this task here, we can double-click to rename, or again, we can use the keyboard and press space. And so let's say this is show off basic editing. And this will be with this new tag, edit. So we'll show off all the wonderful things you can do. It has notes. So let's see, this will be vital. And so once we have this task, maybe we want some subtasks. So we could have, say, create a task. And so I pressed Shift Enter there, or we can just create a subtask here. And you'll notice that these subtasks have the same tags and the same priority as the created task. And let's say, once we've created a task, I guess we should edit the task. And then I can press return to make a new task under this one. And then let's say moving and reorganizing. So I could bring this up here. Or I could put this, say, out here, right above this one. But I'll leave it where it was. Maybe. There we go. And let's say deleting tasks. So you can also delete tasks, but that completely removes it, so it doesn't even show up when we have completed tasks. Instead, it'd probably be best to just mark it as completed. And we can also do that from here. So that way, just in case you need to see it again, you can just check the filtering for completed tasks, or show off only active tasks, or only completed. But let's say maybe these aren't so important. So we can just right-click and we can change the priority, or we can do that from the side panel here. And likewise, we have the tags that can be edited here, so we could say, take this one, and maybe this doesn't need this task, or maybe this one needs the create task, but it doesn't need edit, so we can just remove that. And here, let's have like, you can have reorganize and move, but actually, now that I've thought of that, I don't want any of these, so we'll just remove them all, and we'll put cool, and we can either add it or just press enter. But I think those are all done. So let's say, let's create a new task. So now we should probably show off filtering. I showed it off pretty thoroughly with that previous demo. So what else do we need to see? I guess we should probably look more into finding things in notes and titles. So let's say I have something where I don't remember what I actually called the task, but I remember that there is the word cherry in there for some reason. So here I could search for it by just typing in, and look at that. All the other tasks are gone. And then, of course, it can filter by the title of a task, and this is done in real time, and it's pretty quick. And then let's say we need to search for the cool tasks. So we can just do that, and it'll show us this. But maybe we don't need to. We need to actually remove it. No cool tasks allowed. And so that is pretty much all the main things. We also have some options here. So like you can select a task and then you can expand it or collapse it automatically. And you can also do that by obviously clicking these arrows. And a more useful thing is, let's say we have a bunch of tasks. And then we want to filter all of them or collapse them all. So now we just can quickly get a summary, or we can expand them all. And then, just in case for some reason a filter hasn't been applied, you can reapply it here, though generally it's always applying actively. And then the final thing is the help page. So NP-ToDo is available under the GPL license, so when you buy it, you get access to the source code. And you can see the GPL license here in the About page, or a link to it. And you can also see the store page if you want to ask me any questions or get any help on something. And then finally, we can go to the manual. The manual basically just shows you everything that I've shown here. It tells you how to use it to create tasks and filter tasks, and it shows you all the keyboard shortcuts. And it also provides links to the community page and to the video, which hasn't existed yet, so it's not here. And to the store page. And those are all the basic things for using it, but I actually wanted to show some other things as well. So let's say that I want to save this, and I'll save it to just the desktop. So example2.npt. So what are these NPT files? Well, you can actually just edit this in Notepad. So an NPT file is just a text file with a certain format. You have these little lists, and then you have little properties underneath them. And then these are subtasks. So let's start with the filtering. So this is the project name, and then we have showing completed tasks and showing active tasks. This is for required tags and excluded tags, and this is the min priority that we're looking at. So this is the priority of the task. So priority goes from 0 to 1, 2, 3, and 4, from most important to least important. This slash represents the notes for a tag, so you have multiple lines by just having multiple lines in here that start with a slash. This semicolon line represents things that have tags, so you can have extra tags by simply editing them here. And then if we wanted to mark a task as completed, we could just put X underneath this tag. So let's see our changes in NP-ToDo. So we can see here, it has notes, and you can edit them in text. The reason I'm showing off this internal file structure is because in the event that you can't run NP-ToDo on some machine or just don't have it with you, you can still open the files and look at them, and with a little bit of carefulness, you can still edit them. But hopefully that's never an issue because this is also open source. When you buy it, you get a copy of it licensed under GPL. So let's take a look at that. If push comes to shove, you can change anything you want about the project by simply opening up Lazarus and getting to work. The code has a few files. Unit 1 is basically just this page, describing everything that goes on here. Unit 2 is much smaller because it is showing you the About page. And then there's the undoables file, which just describes all of the things that you can undo and redo, such as editing text, editing tags, and basically everything in the application. And then there's just this short tasks file, which describes the basics of a task itself. But that's basically everything that I can think of to talk about with NP-ToDo, so hopefully if you've purchased it, that helps answer any questions you've had. And if you haven't purchased it, it convinces you to purchase it because it's epic. It's cool. You can filter tasks. Look at how many tasks I can filter. I mean, look at how fast it is. Like, look at that. Like, that's for like 1 billion tasks. There's so many things. My other one, it took like 20 seconds to load. I guess that's it. Bye.